Hello and welcome to Center for Victory's podcast of Your Best Day Yet. Here at Center for Victory, we're here to help unlock, reinforce, and enrich relationships through personal and professional development. I'm Eric Guy, Chief Victory Officer at the Center for Victory. Today, we're going to I'm going to give you some highlights of what we just experienced here this past Saturday with our Vision Day. Vision Day actually came out of something we've done with our family for years and years and years and years. When my wife and I, Tammy, when our kids were small, we started just helping them with their goals. Is something my wife and I would regularly do before we had kids, and moving into kids, we thought that was extra special and important for them to start to begin to do. So as that just kind of took on year after year after year, it became kind of almost a tradition in our household, and we would come together and spend a day together. Of course, when they were younger, it wasn't a whole day. Now it is a whole day that they actually appreciate, and we get into a lot of things now that they are out in the world adulting, and just to hear their goals, to share their goals. A lot of the times, our goals run in together. For example, we're going to run a marathon or a half marathon together this year. But it's nice to know where everybody's at, how we can help still with their goals and what's going on. But what happened when we were starting to meet as a family, when they got into high school, every Vision Day, we would hear little knocks on the door, and it would be friends of theirs wanting to participate. So that prompted us last year to do our, the official Community Vision Day. And last year we kicked that off about the same time as it was this year. So it was in January, and it was just a day where we use what we've learned to give back to our community to help them understand how to do the exact same things inside of their families and also their companies. I think this year we had 7 or 8 of our companies there, along with a lot of coaching clients, a lot of friends, a lot of relatives. This year we had almost 90 people. Last year we had 50. So, we're getting close to doubling that number. And I think there was a lot of good energy in the room. But usually what we do with that is we provide the assessments that we go over in our company. Most people have taken them. The ones that haven't get to experience all 3 of those. We go over that, and that's really important to really create the self-awareness that we need when we're looking to forward ourselves and progress ourselves and have greater success in life. So we go over those things, those assessments, those 3 assessments. So really that's the what, why, and how of human performance. Then we dig into the brain, the neuroscience around success, which I absolutely love, around relationships, just all the science around it, just a high level overview. And then we move into creating our why with people, because it's just not, good enough to have goals. It just, I can have goals that everybody else has, but you have to know why you want them. So we talk about that a little bit during our Vision Day. And then we jump into creating goals for people. And then we spent the last hour as a whole group creating vision boards together. So those vision boards that people take home, put up somewhere where they can see them, so that it reminds them every day what their goals what their goals are and what they want to accomplish in the coming year, and then how to follow up with those. So that's what we do. This year was very special because it just wasn't me on stage. This year we had some special guests that you'll see in this highlight reel. We had my daughter came up and shared a little bit on the word of the year, which I think you'll enjoy her exercise on that. I was then joined by my son and my daughter-in-law, his wife, as they talked about vision boards and how to do those, and just to give some reminders to people of how to structure those. And then one of the big announcements we had, I had my hype man up on stage with me. When I say my hype man, he's one of my near and dearest friends, but he's collaborating with us this year. And a big announcement that came out is our AMP excursion. So Adventure, Mission, and Purpose, AMP. those AMP excursions. We have 3 of those that'll be on the website, and he'll talk more about it in this highlight reel. And I'm sure I'll have him on another podcast as well, talking about those excursions. We will be going and doing a lot of the same things we did in Vision Day around goal planning, leadership, success. We'll be taking people into the Grand Canyon this year, into Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa, and also into Glacier out in Montana. So take a look at these highlights from this year's Vision event. I hope you like it. I hope it speaks to you, and maybe we'll see you all this time next year in 2025 for that Vision Day. If you don't have a hype man or a hype woman, you need to get one. All right. Caleb's like the Energizer Bunny. I mean, it's constant go, 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 go. He's the executive director of a nonprofit that we really get behind, ATP. They're based out in Wexford. But one of the things that they've done is they've really gone and created some adventures for leaders, and we're going to tag team. So during those times, we're going to have these adventures, and then we're going to talk about what we just talked about here. We're going to go over assessments. We're going to go over things like creating your inner circle and things of that nature during that time in nature. But I will tell you, and Caleb has said this so many times, to me and to other people, but especially like when we go into the canyon. You know, the same person that enters the canyon is not the same person that comes out. It tests you mentally. Your body is hating itself. Sometimes you're like, ugh. But the thing of it is, unless you got about 50 grand for a helicopter ride out of there, you gotta walk out. And it was very, the last 3 miles, Tammy and I just really, I mean, it just, we were close through the whole canyon experience, but those last 3 miles was like, yeah, because there was a time I didn't even know I was going the right direction or not. There's only one way, too, so I mean, it's really your mind's playing tricks on you. It's like, oh, my, like, this is a big switchback. Like, if we go, like, and you see lights up here, you're going this way, because it was dark. But after we came out of that, it was a lot closer. But the friendships you make going through that, and the things that you talk about are amazing. Because a lot of the times, unless it's Mount Fuji and you have self-service on a mountain, most of these adventures, you don't have self-service. You're disconnected. You can't have it unless you have a sat phone, which most people just don't keep readily available. Okay? But I'm going to ask Caleb some questions, and he's going to talk a little bit about each of these that we have at least marked for the year. And I'm doing this, we didn't do this last year. One, we didn't have this, it's just pushed it. But a lot of you have asked about this. We will do a follow-up call with this on the 29th. Okay, so we have that in the PowerPoint. But if you're interested in going, some have like little missions attached to them. So tell us about Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kilimanjaro, this is one of my favorite trips. And real quick, if I could just tell a brief story, so we're going to take 30 seconds. I know there's a time crunch on the go, so we're going to do this real quick. But Eric's talking a lot about what your why is today. For me, when we think about that, I'm blessed to be able to do this adventure guide. My wife is also a certified wilderness first responder guide. And my why is I love seeing personal growth in other people, and we use adventure as the outlet for that. And just a real quick story, when I was in the 8th grade, I went on a trip to Colorado with my dad, Tom Shokin, Clay, his son Clay, Leo Wasniewski, Steph Wasniewski, and my brother. So we all went to Colorado together, and we were backpacking. And the second day we were going to summit this mountain. And as Derek said at the beginning, I don't mind being cold, I don't mind being wet, I hate being wet and cold. But it started raining, and one by one, everybody started turning around until it was just me and my dad left. And I remember being like, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. There was a lot of exposure. It was was a little sketchy. I was young, and I was getting teary-eyed. Like, I don't just want to go back to the. And I remember my dad being like, if you do this and you get through this, you're going to remember this for the rest of your life. You're going into high school, I was on the wrestling team, wrestling matches are going to get hard. This is something you'll have for the rest of your life. And so, fast forward to 20 years later, I get to do this, as a job, and I love it. And Sarah and I have taken clients, multiple clients, and stories we tell over and over again of, how these adventures change you. And so the first one, and Sarah and I, between us, we've got 8 summits of Kilimanjaro. We've got engaged on Kilimanjaro. We've got married on Kilimanjaro. We've got anniversary on Kilimanjaro. And it's really a really awesome trip. So 7 days on the mountain, we do what's called the Machame route. There's 5 different ecological zones on Kilimanjaro. It's the tallest freestanding mountain in the world at 19,341 feet. So you start in the rainforest and actually go all the way up through Heather Moreland, all the way up through toward where you're in like the Arctic desert. So it's essentially looks like some out of Star Wars at the top. We have two days of volunteer work that we'll do. Some at Happy Home, the company that we guide for. They own an orphanage. And there's 10 children at the orphanage right now. They also partner with NSK Hospital and the Limb Lab. So there's a lot going on in Kilimanjaro. It's a very special place near and dear to my heart. And so I'm excited about that trip.
Yeah, and we know that it's meant to be because I didn't go to the So I just got an email that Kilimanjaro is in Tanzania. The country right next to it is Kenya. I actually just got an email after we decided to do this and put this slide together. I got an email the next day and I called him like, dude, you're never going to guess. I just got an email from the people in Kenya and they want me to come do a training because they found out we were doing this. You think we could add another training for some of these orphanages onto that? I'm not in trouble yet. So this is what we're going to do. We just wanted, that's one of the trips. The next one, I know Caleb is, I'm very pumped about, but he's really excited about it because we just went out. We actually did this together and did the hiking together. And for me, it was really cool because it's not like, this is doable for most people. It's not.
This is not a butt kicker.
Yeah, this is not a butt kicker. This is more a little laid back. We're going to be talking more about leadership, about personal development. But this will be September 25th through 29th. What do they need to know about this?
Yeah, so this is, as far as Glacier National Park goes, I'm really excited about this trip. When Eric and I Eric came to me with the opportunity to do some guiding, and he said, hey, let's put a trip together. It's great. He said, where do you want to go? Anywhere? Yeah, it was like my favorite place in the continental U.S. is Glacier National Park in Montana. He's like, great, let's go check it out. And so we put together a 5-day, 4-night itinerary, and we went to Montana at the end of September, first week in October. Absolutely beautiful. So we are actually going to do that itinerary. So it's there's going to be 3 adventures that we're going to do every day. This is a little bit nicer than Kilimanjaro in the fact that we're not going to be sleeping in a tent. We're going to be sleeping in a hotel. So these are just 1-day trips. They're typically about 6 miles on the trail. They're not butt kickers, but they're absolutely gorgeous locations in Montana. So we're going to do. The first day is going to be Avalanche Lake hike. It's probably one of those pictured lakes in Glacier National Park with the mountains behind it, 3 waterfalls coming down. Day 2, we're going to go up to the Continental Divide, up by Logan Pass and do a hidden lake trail. It's amazing that it's known for a lot of animals and wildlife. And the first time, that was when I was in high school. In the bottom left, there's a little bit, but it's real. And then the 3rd day, we're going to go up to the corner of Glacier National Park on the east side, and Many Glacier, and Real Glacier Trail is a beautiful trail as well with wildlife. So it's going to be a great opportunity, and one of my favorite parts of this is there's the opportunity for growth and development. And this is really Eric's going to be leading trainings throughout the trip, and so it's really a great opportunity to develop both professionally, personally, and spiritually. So.
And then the last one we get asked a lot about is the Grand Canyon. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the Grand Canyon, like Eric said, when we start on the North Rim. So just while running through this trip, we all meet in Scottsdale. We take private transportation on a bus that goes up to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, where we will spend the night at Jacob's Lake Inn, is what's called the North Rim. We start super bright and early on Saturday morning. Our goal is to go from the North Rim to the South Rim of the Grand Canyon in one day. It's about 24.6 miles. And we start the trail. We start the North Kaibab Trail. Like Eric said, over 8,000 feet. We drop down all the way to the Colorado River. We'll have lunch at Phantom Ranch, and then we head back out on Bright Angel Trail out the South Rim. And so we've been on trips where clients have done this in 10 and a half, 11 hours, and my wife and I have been in the canyon for 20, 21 hours as well. So there's benefit if you walk nice and slow and you're in the canyon in the dark. During the evening time, the stars are beautiful. There's a lot of shooting stars, so regardless of when you get out of the canyons, but it I think is probably the most transformative single day trip that we offer. And it does sound kind of cliche, but I say that a lot. The person that goes in the canyon and the person that comes out are two different people, and it's a good example of type 2 fun. So.
Yeah, and when you can go in with somebody that the team, whether it's a spouse, a kid, whatever, and we just want to present these because people keep asking for this. This is a stretch for me to do this, especially the Kilimanjaro one, because that means I'm out of pocket for that time on the mountain. But we're also adventurers that really can just push you when we talk about that challenge. Earlier on, there's other things that we're going to be doing that aren't this kind of elaborate, but since you are interested, the last thing, Caleb, it's January 31st. I said the 29th is our.
Well, we would start between that Monday and Wednesday.
Okay.
We figured Monday, Monday's
Okay.
So yeah, if you do want to learn more, editorship team, you can send us out, but we're going to do a Zoom call. We do these typically every month. For the trips that we guide, but this one is just going to be for Center for Victory for all of us. So if you're interested in any of these adventures, Grand Canyon, Kilimanjaro, or Glacier National Park, we'll send out the details. But the Zoom is going to be Wednesday, January 31st at 6 p.m. It's a great time to write all the questions down that you have, but I'll go through in detail each trip. As far as the itinerary, packing list, what you need to know, what's included, what's not included, and then we'll answer all your questions. I love doing that. So.
Yeah, and if you're close by, I know Tammy and I did a lot of our training down at Brush Creek. So I'll be there again. It gives us time to maybe to talk and things like that as well. So there's a lot of opportunity for us as the community. But I really appreciate this. Caleb and Sarah, I trust them wholeheartedly on these trips. They love what they do. I think you can tell that from just what Caleb is saying. It's amazing, and I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully, we'll see you on the trail. But we'll have another call. We'll send this out January 31st at 6 p.m. You can. Before I forget, you don't have to do the whole Grand Canyon. You can choose to get on the bus at the.
Yeah, so and this is what my parents did when we did the Grand Canyon. So if they want to get off on the North Rim and see off, they can hop on the bus, go around to the South Rim, right to the South Rim, and then drop in through the South Rim. And then you can do as many miles or as few miles as you want, turn around and come back. So that's an option. All of these trips are customizable. We just want to make it a great experience.
So choosing your word of the year. One of the big things that Faith came to us years ago and added to our Vision Day, because we still have our Family Vision Day every year. We had 2 weeks ago. And one of the things that she brought years ago was this whole idea of your word of the year. And it's something that we've shared with some of you. I think it's something that is a great idea. I didn't know about it at first, but I'm going to shut up and let her explain it, and then I'll ask some questions.
I was fine. Okay, so hi everyone. I started this idea because I'm a words person. So I was thinking about the different love languages. It was right when I took the PI the first time. So this was back in 2013. And I just remember thinking, okay, I have all these goals, but they're not fully intentional. I need something to focus them on. So I chose my word, and it was rise. And it was based on my favorite Bible verse, which is Isaiah 61, talking about arise, shine, the light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. So I thought about that verse, and I thought about that word, and it was a time where I was really kind of down in the dumps, and that's a horrible place to be, at least for me, I guess. Maybe some people like it, but I'm not a big fan. So I decided that I needed a focus, I needed a goal, so rise became very much my predominant trait that I was going for that year. And actually now it's my permanent tattoo, and I started Bible studies on it and called it Rise, just to focus on my why. So this word that you're choosing needs to be something that aligns with all of these lessons, all of the crazy knowledge that you've learned today, and it needs to align with your why. So when I think of Rise, I think of overcoming adversity, and I'm an altruist, so which I know plenty of you are. So it was something that I could use to help other people. With my word this year, and I actually wore the sweater just for it, is love this year. So the sheet you have in your folders, it's not a word, it's more extra credit. Hopefully. Thank you. So it's kind of an extra credit activity. So say you're kind of stuck on your word. I gave you some options in there that I actually used in my 6th grade. So if you're thinking, man, I can't think of a word, hello, my 6th grade, so you can do it. And what you can do with this is it gives it a purpose. You can't have something that you don't have to buy into. I mean, we kind of have to self-motivate that way. So love is my word this year. The past couple of years, I've done joy, I've done goodness, which are all based on the fruits of the Spirit. Do they have to be? No. But you can look at that word list and anything that jumps off the page, maybe you pray about it, maybe you talk with your inner circle about it, something that is intentional for you moving forward with your goals. So I did love this year, as you can tell, I signed this guy, so my kids' school saw this too. And having a definition is allowing you to kind of say, okay, I know what this word is, what does it mean, how can I use it? So I use synonyms because with my particular activating system, Caleb, I wanted different ways to connect with the word that weren't just like when love stands out. It has to be something you connect with more often. Of course, you need to have a personal connection, and I am a big person about quotes. I don't know if you know this about me, but I talk about them every week. So I'm a big quote person. I think having a quote or having a Bible verse or having even just song lyrics is so important for this word. You need to have something and you can connect with it. So this word was super important to me. I used a Bob Goff quote. Last year was Mr. Rogers, and so on and so forth. So hopefully, if you have questions about this, you can find me. I mean, I'm thinking loud and obnoxious, so you can find me wherever. And yeah, that's all I have about that. Extra credit.
Thank you. That was great. Give her a hand. So you don't have to have a word. I wasn't a big fan of it the first year, but I definitely believe in it now, and it's just something to concentrate on. Sometimes you might struggle with it, right? You might hear it all the time. A lot of times when we get to the end of the year, we don't know what that word's going to be, so we talk about it like over Christmas break or this year when we were on vacation all together, and it just kind of pops out. And then you have to kind of define it. I like the exercise that Faith has done here because that's how, to keep track of everything. I actually put it on my vision board. I can put the definition with it, what I want to accomplish, and it does relate back to my goals as well. And sometimes it gets validated by other people. So my word, did you tell everybody this yet? So Caleb and I were this weekend, we were in Florida together, and we were at this event, and it's the last day. Everybody goes around in a circle. It's called Inner Circle. and everybody goes around in a circle and they tell their word for the weekend. Is this okay to tell?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Small word.
So my word, I did not want to tell my family because this is probably the most testing it has ever been. But Caleb went up before I did this weekend to tell the whole group what his word for the weekend was. And he's like, I was going to give some kind of businessy, I think he was going to use intentional. He's like, that was a safe word. He said, but the more I thought about it, the more my word was surrender. And I'm just sitting there in my seat going, wow. Because guess what my word is? And he has no idea. So while he's talking to the group, I pulled out my iPad because I have my vision board, a picture of it on my iPad on my background screen. And I zoomed in when he sat down. I could tell he was nervous. It was very, he was being very transparent with the group. And I'm like, dude, look at this. This is my word of the year. And I'm just like, wow. Like he didn't even know, which was kind of cool. And it just kind of validated me as well, because it's going to, I really don't like that, because if you know me, I like to be in control. And it's just complete surrender. And one of the, I dug in and did this exercise like Faith did. One of the things that I found was a quote by Chuck Swindoll. And he said, surrender doesn't necessarily have to do with anything of just submitting. It's actually active trust. Trust in action. So that made me feel a little bit better. But I do really believe in the word. If you want that, a lot of people, I know you guys share them with us. I love hearing those. I know Dawn was thinking about clarity, right? But he couldn't get over the fact that I talk so much about my clarity tool, which is just the Louisville Slugger. But those are the things, so you can think about that. You might want to put that on your vision board as well and define that too. We have some more guests coming up. You ready for round 3? Are you doing it? All right, let's go. What do you guys have to say about vision boards? So who wants to start?
Okay. Hi, everyone. My aesthetic is very high, so I really enjoy making vision boards. I think it's really fun, and it's not.
You're really good at it.
It's not as, I don't know, overwhelming as it could be for like just high. But what I like about vision boards is you can make it your own. Faith uses Canva, like it doesn't have to necessarily be on a workboard. But I know like Faith is always on the computer, and she knows that as soon as she opens her laptop, she's going to see it. And like Glacier decided that we made ours on bulletin boards, and we just have them hanging in our office so that every morning when we go in, that's what we see.
We'll go back there as well if you guys want to check them out. The actual physical ones they actually brought them.
So my vision board this year, this is me going like way off my comfort zone and making it actually look nice. Usually it's like just stuff slapped on there. It makes sense to me, but that's the most important part. It's at least what I try to tell myself. But I think for the vision boards, I think what I've learned over time is, obviously aligning to your why and making sure that there's an emotional attachment to your goal. But also with goal boards, less is more. I tend to just really want to go head first into whatever I'm doing. And so with goal boards, that's making a list of 20 to 30 things that I can do this year in order to be better, which is just incredibly overwhelming. And I had a couple years where my goal board was like, I had like each of the 6 different things in the life wheel, and I had like 3 goals underneath them all, which is awesome. But like I hit half my goals, and then come to the next year and be like, why do I feel so defeated? Well, it's because I was trying to like cure world hunger and do a couple other things, and then So, yeah, less is more. And I really try to do that this year. I have about 7 to 8 that are really important to me that hit those parts of my wheel that are a little bit lower than they were on the day.
Anything else, Tony, that you would say to anybody creating? This is the one on the left is Tammy. Tammy, you have yours in the back too, right? Faith has hers on Canva. I'm sure she'd be happy to show you that and the great pictures of she and I on there. I was left off for hers last year, so I filed a complaint with the proper authorities, and now I'm back on. But it's really just.
I feel like too, vision boards, just make it your own. Like add pictures of your family and friends and things that motivate you. The first year that I made a vision board, I just kind of made it really plain, and I was like, it's kind of boring. But I really just learned to make it my own. And when you see people and things that motivate you on your board, you're more likely to go after it. And I think just having that positive mindset towards it, and using your word of the year, like. I know Josiah and everyone in our family, we have our word of the year in the center, and then we always like to put like Bible verses or quotes that just motivate us, so that throughout the year we can just reflect on that.
That's good. I'd say one other thing, I guess it's more of a action item for after today. When you made your board, it looks really nice, and you want to show it off. I encourage you to get folks around you and get real intentional with your inner circle, because accountability is huge. Shout out Will. Last year he looked at me and said, "You look like you could run a marathon. Have you ever done anything like that?" Looked at him kind of weird and said, "No. Like my goal is to run a 5K. I'm not trying to get over that many miles." We ended up running a marathon together in October, and that doesn't happen just like really long time. Thank you. But it was a really cool achievement. I can't remember the other part of the brain as we talked about today, not the RAS. The other one felt like that grew quite a bit. But yeah, get people around you that want to cheer you on and keep you